Hi everyone, thanks for joining me on this video. Now where am I today? I am out and about again and it is a glorious early autumn sunny day. I've come into the New Forest. I'm about 7 or 8 miles east of Bournemouth, I guess, heading down towards New Milton, that kind of neck of the woods. And there's a really posh hotel down here called the Chewton Glen. This is the kind of place where Premiership football teams come when they're going to play against Bournemouth or Southampton, and they hang out here before the match. The great and the good from London will come down here for a spa weekend. It's top end. It really is top end. Now, why am I here is probably a question you're asking yourself, because I don't fit into that top end bracket most of the time. But today, I'm coming to this place behind me. This is called The Kitchen. Now, this is in the grounds of Chewton Glen, not actually in the hotel itself. This is a restaurant owned and run by James Martin. Now, he's a very, very famous chef here in the UK. Multiple cookbooks, multiple TV shows. You'll find him on Saturday mornings on ITV most weekends. And he actually started his chefing career right here at Chewton Glen. So it's an appropriate place for him to have opened a restaurant. Now, I've had a look online. The prices are a touch on the punchy side on the menu, but I'm hoping that today it's actually going to measure up. I've not had great luck going to the sort of celebrity chef-owned places previously. Paid top-end pricing for pretty average food. Let's hope this is different. Will it get Greeno's green light? Well, we'll have to get inside and find out, won't we? Right then guys, so I'm sat in the restaurant now and I have to say it's really, really nice in here. There's choices of seating, there's booth seating, there's individual tables, there's a little kind of sofa area where people can sit and have a drink before they come in to eat. Very relaxed vibe. Now, I'm pretty fortunate on the day that I've come here. Apparently, there's a big private function down at the hotel, and the hotel is actually closed to regular guests because of this function. So nobody's coming up here to eat. I've basically got the place to myself. Normally, it's a lot busier than this, so that works for me a little bit. I've been inundated with menus here. Look at this. I've got 4 different bits of paper to work my way through. First up, there's a little drinks list here. I'm going to be going for a soft drink today because I'm driving. We have the set menu, which is 2 courses for £25 or 3 courses for £29.50. I've got to say the options on there aren't the most inspiring, so I'm not going to be going for that today. There are some specials available, which are on this little bit of paper. Gin and tonic prawns, that sounds interesting, and a fish pie and some mussels. And this is the main menu. Now there's all sorts of different sections on there. There's some starters and salads, mains, including fish and chips, chicken curry, lamb shank. There's some pretty good traditional kind of options there. There's a grill section too, where they've got steaks and burgers and pork chop. And they also do pizzas here, which is pretty interesting for a place like this. So, what am I going to go for? I'm going to start with their hot smoked salmon. That sounds right up my strata, that does. That comes with buttered asparagus, hollandaise, and a parsley and caper salad. Now that's interesting to me, because obviously hollandaise, asparagus, salmon, really classic combination. But that parsley and caper salad, is that going to clash with it, or is it going to add a little element that's a surprise? It's going to cut through some of the richness. I guess we're going to find out. For the main, I'm not going to go for fish and chips or any of that sort of stuff. We're going to go for their rare breed pork chop. Now that's served with all butter mash. Now anyone who's seen James Martin on the telly making mash, you know there's going to be a lot of butter in there. It comes with apple, sage, seasonal vegetables, and a red wine jus. So that's pretty nice. I've ordered an elderflower beverage of some kind or another, which I think will be quite interesting to try. Like I say, price-wise, it's not cheap. The drink is £7. The starter, the hot smoked salmon, is £18. £18? Don't tell Mrs. Greeno I'm here, whatever you do. The pork chop meal, £34. So it's top end price-wise, isn't it? Really is top end. But what I'm hoping for, we're going to get that quality. So we'll have a little bit more of a look around, see what this place is all about, and wait for my starter to arrive. I'm really looking forward to this. I've got to say as well, so far the service has been absolutely impeccable. Really nice greeting when I came in, allowed to basically choose where I wanted to sit. I spotted, obviously I was going to be filming, so just allowed me to set up wherever I want to go. Really, really, really friendly. Not being obtrusive in any way, but just coming over, offering tap water. I've got all my order in now. Really good. In fact, my drink has just arrived, so let's have a little look at that. So this is my elderflower refresher. I'm not exactly sure what's in it. We've got some lime there sticking out the top, so maybe there's some lime in the drink too. Really pretty looking little drink though, isn't it? Let's give it a try. Quite a lot of ice in it. As we can see, I'm going to make it drip all over the table by doing that, so best I have a sip first. Oh, that is refreshing. So you really get a very pronounced elderflower flavour with that. It's very floral, very nice, and there is lime in there too. Crushed ice here. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of a kind of mix up now that I can actually do that without spilling it everywhere. Oh, that really is nice. And I think the flavours of that are actually going to match quite well with the meals that I've picked. That's why I've gone for this particular drink. As you can see here, they've got a really nice outside seating area too. Here we are, a bit more of a look at the outside space here with all the gardens around. It really is stunning. And the manager of the restaurant was just chatting to me there, explaining a little bit. When they had lockdown, of course, people couldn't eat indoors so much, so they really extended this outdoor space, and now they use it all the time. Especially on a day like today. What's not to like, eh? And my starter has arrived, and doesn't that look pretty as a picture? And we've got the salmon there, which looks cooked beautifully. Well, we've got 5 spears of asparagus. Gorgeous looking hollandaise there with some kind of herb in there. That should be interesting to try. And this little parsley and caper salad with a little bit of red onion in. I think that's just going to provide some contrast to what could otherwise be a fairly rich plate of food. But it looks delicious. Can't wait to get tucked in. Really, really appealing looking and smelling plate of food. So, only one thing to do. Let's get tucked into it. We'll start with a little bit of this asparagus. Asparagus is one of my favourite vegetables. It really is. So I'll just cut a little bit off of there. It's cooked beautifully. It still has a little crisp to it. Not overcooked at all. So just warm. It's almost like a salad in that way. Seasoned beautifully as well. There's a lovely taste of salt and pepper on there. They've not been shy with the seasoning. That was a bit of a criticism I had when I went to Gordon Ramsay's not so long ago, wasn't it? Nothing was seasoned properly, but this definitely is seasoned well. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to try the hollandaise sauce now before we move on to the salmon. So, this has been freshly made. I just saw the chefs knocking it up, so it's not something that's coming out of a packet or anything like that. They're making it fresh to order. Let's see what this is all about. Wow, that has got a ton of flavour to it. That really has. A nice little sort of vinegary hit, lovely and buttery. And that's like a tarragon or something in there. I think it's tarragon. You can pick up sort of like an aniseedy note. I mean, that's a proper hollandaise, that really is. Let's try it with a little bit of this asparagus. That's a marriage made in heaven, isn't it? Asparagus and hollandaise sauce. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So this salad is really interesting as well. It's just a little herb salad, just some very, very finely sliced onion in there, parsley leaves, and these big, big caper berries. Look at the size of this caper berry in there. That is a big old beast, isn't it? So we'll try a little bit of that, get us a little bit of everything from the salad all together. I'll say we've had the hollandaise already, so we've got the richness off the dish. That just adds like a freshness and acidity from that caper as well. That is great. Having it just with herbs rather than salad leaves as well means that everything's got a really good pronounced flavour. That's a clever little touch, that really is. So let's move on to this salmon. And as you can see here, look at the cookery on that. Just nice and pink. It's smoked salmon, but not sliced smoked salmon, it's smoked as a whole piece of salmon. And it's got a lovely, not overly punchy, but certainly pronounced smoke flavour. Not so much that you can't really taste the flavour of the salmon, and it's very, very good quality salmon. This is not the sort of salmon you're picking up in Tesco, let me tell you. It's meaty. There's none of that sort of, the white gunk you sometimes get when you're cooking the fish. It's been injected with water or something like that. This is the real deal. And with that hollandaise as well. My goodness me. Come in a little bit closer and see how it all works together. So here we go. We got the salady bits here. I'll say with these great big caper berries in there. Really nice and fresh. The salmon, I mean, again, take a look at this flesh of the salmon. It flakes away beautifully. And you can see the sort of smoking to the outside of it there. Slightly different coloured flesh. And the asparagus, the seasoning on there is perfect. And this hollandaise sauce, wow. Actually, one thing I haven't done yet is to see how this drink actually complements this starter. I thought the elderflower flavour in here and a little bit of citrus would probably work quite nicely with this salmon dish. And it does, again, because it's sweet, but it has a sharpness. And again, that helps to cut through some of the richness. So, yeah, good choice, Greeno, good choice. Well, I've got to say, that was truly exceptional. What a great start to the meal. Can't wait for the main course now. This is really cool. Right next to the restaurant, there's actually a cookery school, and James Martin actually hosts the cookery school in here himself. He's down here about once a month, apparently, doing cookery courses for people. And in fact, apparently, he's on site today, but down at the main hotel, catering this function. So we're not going to see him, unfortunately, in this restaurant, but he is within a few hundred yards of us. Okay, my main course has arrived, and this looks absolutely beautiful. We've got a little bowl here of mixed vegetables, and it's really warm. We've got a metal bowl here. There's some broccoli in there, some carrots, a couple of other bits and bobs down the bottom. We'll get to them. And then onto the main plate here, we have this huge looking pork chop here, really big, with some nice crispy kind of kale on there, crisped up sage leaves. Don't know what that is. We'll give that a try in a minute. And the mashed potato here as well. That's beautifully piped onto the plate, all with a delicious looking jus. Take a closer look, folks. Right, come on in, guys. Let's get tucked into this. It looks delicious. So this thing on the top here, I think this is probably some kind of like spicy, herby butter. It is. So that's going to melt and add to the sauce there as well. Great. So the thing I'm excited to try is this mash. We'll give that a go first. So we've got nice little crispy elements on here where they've crisped up some kale and some sage. Beautifully piped, and this should be really, really buttery and unctuous, this mash. That's so smooth. That is, wow. And it's seasoned beautifully again. Nice little bit of salt in there, an undercurrent of pepper in there too. But that is so smooth and silky, that mashed potato. Wow. That's really, really good. I know it's only the humble potato, but sometimes humble things are good, aren't they? So let's try this this pork chop. So on here, like I say, we've got some more of this sage and crispy kale and stuff. We'll move that out of the way for now so that we can kind of get to the main event. But there's spiced butter on the top here, and underneath that kale and whatever, there's what looks kind of like an onion marmalade. Really kind of sharp almost. Again, different flavours, different textures, all adding together into one great thing. So let's cut this pork open and take a look inside. And here we go. So we've got a nice little layer of fat on there, but it's cooked nicely. And the beautiful, it's quite thick, this is probably about 1 inch thick, this pork chop. I'll get some of that jus on there as well. But it's cooked nicely, looks nice and juicy. It is. Wow. The fat, when you first bite into the fat, it almost gives you a crisp. It's not crackling on there, but I have taken the effort to actually crisp up that bit of fat. The little onion marmalade on the top, Really does add a nice sharpness to it. It does. And this jus, almost like a gravy. Wow. It's such a nice big piece of pork as well. I know I was saying £34 seems a little strong for a dish, doesn't it? But it's very, very high quality, the meat. And they're not scrimping on the portion size of it by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to go back to this mash again and get a little bit of the jus on there as well. Basically mash and gravy, huh? So good. It really is good. Really, really good. Let's try some of these veggies as well. So like I said, we've got some broccoli there. There's a bit of carrot in here. I think it's carrot anyway. Looks like carrot. What else have we got? Bit of courgette there. So again, carrot, a little bit of sweetness. Goes nice with pork generally. Pork is kind of a sweeter meat, isn't it? Again, beautifully cooked. Just a little bit of bite, a little bit al dente. The broccoli. Wow. Broccoli isn't normally one of my favourite vegetables. But that's great. I think it's the amount of butter that's on them. There is a lot of butter in those vegetables as well. This is not a restaurant your cardiologist would recommend you to come to. But you don't want to listen to them anyway if you want good food. We get this courgette as well. Again, really nicely cooked. Courgette is often a bit soggy, mushy, watery. This is not at all. Been really sensitively cooked. Such a nice texture. There's nothing that I can complain about on this plate at all so far. And try these little crispy bits of what look like kale. Again, just another little texture there. And the sage leaves too. I mean, pork and sage again. A great combination. Wow. This really is an exceptional plate of food. It really is. Goodness me. Now, I don't know if you can tell, I quite enjoyed that. Now, it's a little bit posh, this place. Is it bad form to pick up that bone and gnaw at it? Because that's what I want to do. Now, I've got to say, my experience so far has been nothing short of exceptional. Really, really, really good cookery, really good service. Now, normally, I don't tend to go for a dessert, but do you know what? I'm here, I might as well treat myself. So I'm going to have a little look at the dessert menu. I've seen a couple of things on there which look pretty tasty. Again, they're all kind of top end price-wise, about 12 quid, I think. But only live once, don't we? So here's the dessert menu, or puddings as it's called. After all, James Martin is a Yorkshireman, he's going to call it his pudding, isn't he? So they've got a lemon and lime posset, vanilla cheesecake, warm apple crumble, kitchen apple, whatever that is, salted caramel delice, and a selection of ice cream. So I think I'm probably going to go for that, the salted caramel delice. Served with New Forest strawberries, strawberry and raspberry ice cream. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So while I'm waiting for the dessert, I found out a little bit more about that main course. So the little chutney kind of thing on the top was actually the apple chutney, which had a nice little sourness to it. And the butter was a Café de Paris butter, which normally you'd get with a steak, wouldn't you? But it went really, really nicely on that pork chop. Now, the pork chops themselves are locally sourced. It comes in actually as a whole saddle of pork, and they actually butcher them themselves on site. So, yeah, proper attention to detail. Right, so what do we have here? We have this chocolate delice, which is kind of like a moussey kind of thing, isn't it? We have the New Forest strawberries there, there's some chocolate straws here, a little bit of crumble, some kind of sauce on the bottom there, and we have this this ice cream here, which is strawberry and raspberry ice cream. And then a nice little touch here, a little branded kind of biscuit on there. It says the kitchen at Chewton Glen. So it really is a very, very pretty dessert. Almost a shame to eat it. That won't stop me though. So let's dig straight into this this delice here. A nice consistency there. It's rich. Quite a, I don't know, almost dense flavour. So let's try these strawberries now. We've got a little, kind of like caramelly sauce on the bottom there. That's the salted caramel element. Does go nicely with that chocolate. And it's nice having that strawberry element there, because it just gives it a little zing, a little freshness. That's been the theme throughout this whole meal, isn't it? Slightly different flavour combinations, and not allowing one type of flavour to be too dominant. Remember back to the starter, we had that little salad which kind of cut through the richness of the salmon and the hollandaise. Similar with the main course, and now this with the little strawberries and the chocolate. And that strawberry is so lovely and juicy. Really nice. Let's try this little biscuit. It's just a little wafer that, as you can see here, it's branded with the restaurant name on. Perfectly crispy. Very, very tasty. The ice cream, delicious strawberry and raspberry. Again, very nice. Quite a subtle flavour of the fruit in there. Not too punchy, but you can definitely distinctly pick out the two different berries. They kind of hit your tongue at slightly different times, which is nice. You've got a little chocolate straw here. These are quite hard to eat with a spoon because you just shatter them everywhere. There's a nice dark chocolate there. Oh, we got a little bit of crumb here. I haven't found the crumb yet. It almost looks like a kind of crumble topping. And again, that's the textural element in there. So we've got a little crunch from that crumb. We've got the cold of the ice cream, the richness of the delice itself, the freshness of the strawberries. It just excites the palate with every different mouthful. And they are different mouthfuls, that's the thing. Every time you get in a spoonful, you're getting slightly different flavour combinations. Really, really clever. Uses of flavour, uses of texture. I'm not normally a big fan of chocolate puddings, but I'm eating all of this. Another empty plate. That was really, really tasty. So I'm just going to finish up the rest of my little elderflower drink, which again is going to help cleanse the palate after quite a rich dessert. And then we'll get the bill and we'll head outside into the sunshine and give you my final thoughts and a score. Right guys, what a glorious afternoon this is, eh? You can't go wrong, can you? We're midway through September on filming this. You know what, after the summer we've had, weather like this is more than welcome, isn't it? Right, so let's talk about the kitchen. James Martin's restaurant here at Chewton Glen. So I've got the receipt here. We had the asparagus and salmon starter, which was £18. Pork chop, £34. The chocolate delice pudding, £12. And the elderflower drink was £7. And the obligatory 12.5% service charge on top of that. What do I think about that for value? I mean, it's not a cheap lunch, is it? We're talking some serious money. But what I will say, the restaurant itself is beautiful, the service was exceptional, and the food, I cannot find a single fault with anything there. So well thought out. The dishes are actually designed by James Martin himself. He's down here once a month, he does his cookery school thing. He's actually involved in this restaurant. He's designing the menus, like I say, and I tell you what, it's a great menu. The starter plate was delicious. Really classic kind of dish, but with little twists on it to make it interesting. The main course of the pork, again, so many different little elements with bits and bobs that had different textures, flavours. Every mouthful gave you a slightly different taste. Great. And that dessert, like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of chocolate puddings in the world, but I ate every scrap of it. What a pudding that was. Really, really tasty. So, I mean, I can't give this place anything less than 5 out of 5. Now, I know you're going to say it's expensive. It is. There's no doubt about that. It's the most expensive meal we've had on the channel. But this time, the quality was there. It really, really was. It's outstanding. Now, this is not the kind of place you can come and eat every week. Of course it isn't, unless you've, unless you're a footballer or you've won the lottery or something. But if you want a place where you want to go for a special meal, an anniversary, a birthday, it's nice to know that there's somewhere that if you do go to spend this kind of money, you're going to get looked after and you're going to eat very, very well. This place behind me, you've got no problems with that. The kitchen by James Martin here at Chewton Glen, what a restaurant. 5 out of 5, Greeno's green light all day long. Okay then guys, so that's it from me here in the New Forest. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget, click a thumbs up on there for me. It does help with the channel. And if you'd like to enjoy some more of the content, then why not consider clicking the subscribe button. You can ding your bell for notifications. That way, YouTube will tell you when a new video uploads. Right, I might need to go for a little lie down now. I am well fed, let me tell you. I'll see you next time.